Hello and welcome to the weekly show at home. I am Nick Mercer and I'm glad you are here with us. Sad we're not at midweek anymore, but excited to be here online with you. Thanks for being here on the Chapel's YouTube channel. Drop a like and subscribe below. I've always wanted to do that. I'm going to keep saying it until more people like it and more people subscribe to it. Hopefully you saw a virtual living room this past Sunday. And if you haven't, I suggest you check it out. But finish this video first, then go watch Virtual Living Room. And I think that's all we have up top. So let's get straight into our first segment of the day, Quarantine Check-In with this week's guest, Alana.
Hi everyone, it's Alana. Thanks Nick for having me. I'm here to give you guys a bit of updates and announcements. So first off, just wanted to share that we're still doing stuff on Instagram. So if you haven't already, follow us. That'll be pop up below hopefully. So we have all kinds of things on there, Corn Thoughts, we have Corn Tunes, it's on Spotify, so check that out. We also have something new this week. So it's the first ever Wake Up Williamsburg, the podcast. So that's dropping tomorrow, which is Thursday. So you can find that on the Apple app there. We'll announce them on our stories, so look out for that. That's all of the announcements I have for this week. But just want to give an update on my life and what I'm doing here. Nothing too crazy. I've just been trying to stay busy and get outside. I picked up some mountain biking and I'm going to go do some walks. And also my roommate got a puppy. So he is a golden doodle, who's sooner I'll bring him in, chews on stuff, say hi. So he is, I think he's almost 3 months. So he's been a little fun addition to the house, and it definitely kept us busy, chewing things and on the ground. But he is a little fun, right? I just want to give you guys some encouragement. So I know that this time is kind of confusing and can feel isolating. I know for me it has. It's been hard not being around people. But I just wanted to give you guys some encouragement. So there's a verse, and it's from 1 Thessalonians 5:11. It says, "Therefore encourage one another and build one another up, just as you are doing." And so this was written to the Thessalonians. As they were new believers, they were going through hardships, and Paul wrote this to kind of encourage them to build each other up. So that's what I want to do with you all. So I just encourage you to reach out to friends, anybody that you know that might need a little bit of extra support or encouragement. And also you can reach out to us if that's you. My number will be below. You can reach out to Nick, Isaac, Casey, Luke. We're all here. We don't want you to feel alone during this time. So that's all I have for you. So thanks for coming by. Bye.
Thanks, Alana. And now moving on to our next segment is something that we called 10 for them, 1 for us. And as always, this is the one for us. So last week we got back into it with some midweek connections. And this week we're going to do a very special virtual at-home isolation edition of Safari Nick.
Hello, I'm Safari Nick. Join me as we explore this ecosystem known as the Williamsburg Community Chapel, and as we look for different specimens that are lurking around this glorious area. Hello, I'm Safari Nick, and on today's episode we are going to re-explore a species we have already discovered at the chapel, but we're going to do it in a socially isolatingly acceptable way. We're going to do it on Instagram. Join me on our virtual quest as we enter the telephones that we so often are in and seek to find Isaac Gonzalez. Alright, so we're in. Lots of pictures of his offspring. Look at this. This looks interesting. The baby Isaac seems very confused as to how his father got inside of a guitar. Come to think of it, I am also confused. It makes no sense. Okay, moving on. Oh my goodness. This must have been before the Isaac was groomed. Look at that. That's what a wild Isaac looks like. Incredible. Incredible. There are so many records, so many cave paintings within the virtual cave of the Isaac that I don't even know where to begin. Let's go back to the very beginning, because like they said in The Sound of Music, that's a very good place to start. Foodie. very classic foodie, very New York. Ha! Scary. Let's go back to the very beginning. His beautiful wife, the Mrs. Isaac, if you will, very much helped make the species from the wild beast we saw earlier into the docile creature that we now know and love. Very domesticated. Very domesticated. This would be better if he had more embarrassing photos, or ones that needed more explanation. A lot of food pictures. Banana with Nutella. I don't know why you'd Instagram that, but okay. Simpler times. What year was that? 2014. Incredible. 2012. Wow. So long ago. The Isaac, an old creature. Oh, there he is with the hair again. Incredible. The Isaac is in pain. If you ever want to know what the Isaac in pain looks like, see this picture here. There it is. The winning picture. Look at that. Incredible. So what have we learned about the Isaac today? He used to have longer hair. We know what his face looks like in pain. We know that his first Instagram was in 2012. And we know that he has a child who is easily tricked by cameras hidden inside of guitars. I think that's about all we can hope to learn from today. Thank you for joining me on this virtual expedition of the Isaac. Stay tuned and we'll discover more ways to track species that normally are located in the Williamsburg Community Chapel but are currently stuck at home in their social isolation. Thank you and goodbye.
So there you go, virtual safari Nick in the books. It wasn't quite the same as prowling around the ecosystem known as the Williamsburg Community Chapel, but it was still fun. And moving on to our guest of the week. This week we have a very special guest, and I'll let him introduce himself in a second. And I'm also going to do this weird thing where I kick it to myself on a Zoom call that I already have recorded. So take it away, Nick, for the Zoom guest of the week. So, okay, guys, it's time for our segment, The Guest of the Week. And this week we have Cameron Ross, who is the champion of our Zoom trivia from this past Friday. So, Cam, first, let's hear a victory speech from as the Zoom champion.
Ooh, a victory speech. All right, I guess my biggest thing is you got to win one to be known as a GOAT. You have to get into the GOAT status. So that's just the first of many coming my way. But I just want to say, Disney – I just studied for Disney. I knew Disney, and when I saw the emojis pop up, I was like, "This is mine." So it's pretty good.
There you go. And we're actually changing the rules a little bit. So Cam's gonna be the champion to beat this week, and because of that, he gets to pick the next topic. So Cam, what's the topic gonna be for this Friday?
Why don't we go with guess the state by landmark or something that's happened, and you have to guess what state it is.
Okay, there you go. So all the answers are going to be states of the United States. We're going to have a state theme. That's good. Have you gone to a lot of states, or do you feel good about this?
If it's East Coast, I might have it. Other than that, I've only been to Arizona. So.
All right, so maybe I'll try to keep it East Coast for you.
Yeah, let's keep it East.
All right, so there you go. Come try to beat Cam Friday at 3 p.m. on Zoom. We'll text out the links on the text lists, or we'll put up the ID on Instagram. Cam, thanks for being the guest of the week this week.
Thanks for having me.
See ya.
See ya.
And finally tonight, small groups. Normally this is where I would set up small groups for midweek, but since we're not at midweek, we are all in this together, I'm doing it here, right, for everyone. So last week I spoke about being gathered together. I looked at Matthew 18 and hopefully had a chance to gather with some of the homies this past week. And if you haven't, you should. There's no time limit on hopping on a Zoom call with your small group, so you can do it whenever you want, but I encourage you to do that and do it regularly. Today, I want to talk to you about some cool stuff that I've been seeing from a lot of you guys. I've been seeing a lot of people writing each other supportive, loving letters. I've been seeing people FaceTiming and hopping on Zoom calls with their groups, with their friends, checking in, leaders to students, students among each other. I've been seeing people shopping for their grandparents or shopping for their older neighbors or doing yard work. for people who need help. And we just had this big food drive at the chapel. Saw a lot of people. We brought in a ton of food. So shout out to everybody who helped with that. And that food is all going to a nonprofit called House of Mercy, where they're helping people in our community who are in need. And I just wanted to shout out everyone who's filling all of their free time with good things for their family, their friends, their neighbors, for whoever. And I just wanted to point us back to, again, if you haven't seen it, you should check it out. But Isaac spoke at the virtual living room this past week on Sunday night from Philippians chapter 2 about how love is not just a feeling or a word, but it takes an action. And what you're filling your mind with daily will affect your actions. And he laid out 2 challenges. His challenges were, 1, be in the Word every day. Whatever that looks like for you, we have some suggestions for you. You can hit us up, me, Isaac, Alana, Casey, whoever on staff will be more than happy to point you in the right direction of some resources. But be in the Word every single day. And the second challenge is that we are doing something this week. Hopefully you've already seen it, but if not, if you're hearing it for the first time, we are doing an SM fundraiser. And so if you go to wcchapel.org and in the right side, you'll see this button called Giving. Click Giving. And there'll be a drop down that says SM fundraiser. And so our challenge to you is to spend some of your time this week. And if you're just sitting around, you got nothing to do, maybe you have some money that you used to spend going out and doing things with your friends, but you have it. And I encourage you, and our challenge for you this week would be to put that into a place where it is going to get some more need right now. And that place is, we've already alluded to it before, House of Mercy. And so if you, in the drop down under the giving page on the chapel's website, if you click SM fundraiser, we as a student ministry are trying to raise some money, and it'll go directly to House of Mercy. And this is just a way, it's going through our Agape office. It's not just going to like me and Isaac and we're having to figure it out. And so this is just a way for us to see, like, just as students, how much money, how much good we can do for this really awesome not-for-profit organization in our community, helping people in our community, and how we could be a part of that. So that's the challenge that we have for you guys. Check that out. That's all we've got for you today from the Weekly Show at Home. I'm Nick Mercer. Thanks to Alana. Thanks to Cam for being on today's episode. We will see you right here on the YouTube channel for Sunday night's virtual living room. See you next week here for the Weekly Show. Peace.
Behind the scenes, how Safari Nick's jungle adventure at home gets watered right there. Safari Megan.
Safari Megan.